Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray, and thank you for watching. Today we are going to be talking about Re:Zero Season 2, Episode 18, or Re:Zero Season 2, Part 2, Episode 5, whichever the two of those you prefer. So, two important things that we learn. One, we have a new witch whose name is Pandora. She is the witch of Valendy, I believe, or Valerie. Witch of Vanglory. There we go. There's the word I can't pronounce. We learn that Geese is actually Petalgeese. So I'm assuming next episode we're going to learn why he slowly becomes insane, or how he becomes insane, what that situation is. I think he's already dead, but I really don't know at this point in time. And then we also get to see Regulus, which is the Bishop of Greed, being super OP, and he is equally as crazy as Petalgeese was. I was like, oh, he seems like an even-tempered person, but no, if everything doesn't go exactly his way, he just murders stuff, as shown when he literally tried to murder Pandora, but apparently she has some sort of factor that allows her to reverse time, kind of similar to Subaru's, how he has the ability, once he dies, to return by death. She has the ability to turn back time. I don't know how far, but she did it to the point where Petalgeese got his arm back after Greed literally ripped his arm off. And all these factors, like he just completely got rid of Petalgeese altogether. And apparently Petalgeese is living it up in some mansion somewhere with a bunch of women. So we don't exactly know where that is. Somewhere hidden, I'm assuming, because if they knew where it was, a lot of people would attack it. But then again, he is so super over-the-top OP that nobody would really try to mess with him anyway, because what's the point? What is the point of any of that? So they show up. Petalgeese assumes, he was like, hey, I was supposed to have control over all of this. Nobody else is supposed to be here. And then Pandora shows up. She is a witch, so she is obviously higher up the ladder. And she was like, no, I told him to come here. We both came here. I want to know where the seal and key is. And we don't know. We know what the seal is. We have no idea what the key is. I'm assuming at this point it is Amelia, because the spirits, or fairies, as she calls them, little Amelia, lead them to it, and they led her to it again, where she ended up meeting Pandora. So most likely Fortuna, because Amelia never seems to have met her actual parents. Amelia's crying as she's watching this. And she is like, that is my real mother. I love you, I love you, I love you. Just says it over and over and over again. And little Amelia doesn't want them to leave, but she forces Amelia to leave with one of the other elves and run away as far as they can, because they know that Greed and Pandora are a lot of trouble, that there's a good possibility they are going to die. So at this point in time, I am assuming Fortuna is dead. Most likely, she did not survive Pandora, and Pandora maybe is the reason why Geese is all messed up, and because he's obviously devoted to the witches cult, because he has the Archbishop of Sloth. We actually saw him get the Sloth witch factor, which he was keeping in a little box, but he wasn't using it, and it caused him, kind of great pain. He was bleeding a lot. So maybe that's just how it is when you first get the witch factor. It causes you a great amount of pain because you're inheriting this large amount of power. Subaru somehow has that factor, but he just has it automatically, which is weird. He never actually had to obtain it from a witch. I know somebody mentioned that, I think in the manga at this point, it was more explained that he is just naturally gifted with the sloth factor, which we learned a little bit when Petalgeese did take over Subaru's body at a previous point in time, that he is very, capable of the sloth witch factor. So maybe that's a factor portraying that as well. So as Amelia is running away, the serpent, the last of the three great beasts that we need to see. We didn't really see. It looked kind of like a fog, but it's acid. Basically, it spits acid on you and you die. The elf guy that was running away, he actually cut off his own leg trying to stop it, but even that didn't stop it. It kept eating away at him, but little Amelia was able to get away. She followed her fairies actually to the seal, and I'm thinking Amelia is the one that caused a lot of turmoil and pain for a lot of people, because I'm guessing she's the key to the seal. She opens it, and then it's like a new world order or something. We don't know if Pandora is one of the witches that Stelia ended up killing off. It is a very real possibility that Pandora is already dead in the present, but who knows. So we got another witch. We got the third of the three beasts. The white whale's already dead. No longer have to worry about that. We do have to worry about the rabbit at some point in time, which we haven't seen in a very long time, but I know that one's coming back at least. And then the great serpent, I'm assuming we'll have to deal with that in the future, but as of right now, we don't really have to deal with the great serpent. That's probably going to be a next season thing. Maybe the rabbit will die. I don't really know. Maybe Greed will show up again. I don't really know. It's kind of going all over the place, and it's getting to the point where we're getting so much backstory, which is fantastic, but there's no time for the actual story, which, I mean, yes, we have several episodes left. This was episode 18, so we have 6 episodes left still. But at the same time, it's leading me to believe that this season isn't even going to finish out the trials and free the sanctuary, which is where I thought it was going to end. It just seems to be, dragging everything out. And that's not always a bad thing, but at the same time, it's like we're going to be left on a giant cliffhanger again, and is the season going to be longer? Is this part 2? Is there going to be like a part 3 of season 2? Because it seems like there's going to be, with the way these things are getting dragged out, because we are no closer to freeing the sanctuary than we were the first part of this season, and it just seems like it's almost never ending at this point in time. Is Amelia ever finally going to beat the trial? I believe we're still on the first of 3, and if it's taking this long just to beat the first one, then how long is it going to take for her to beat the second 2? You're better off, in my opinion, at this point, throwing Subaru in there. He's already completed 2 of the 3 trials. Have him beat the third one, free the sanctuary, and move on. But I know Amelia has to complete it, so that's what it is there. But it's like, yes, I'm loving the backstory. We're getting all the information on the witch's cult, getting some backstory on Sloth, Petalgeese, getting some backstory on Amelia, but at the same time, we are not moving forward. So I think that kind of explains why we are getting the extra time, why all the episodes are 29 minutes long, no introduction, no outro, because the amount of stuff that I'm guessing is in the manga that you have to cram into the anime, it's a lot. It is a lot of source material. And if you want to make it tried and true to the source material, that's what you're going to have to do. Either that or you're going to end up with 9 million seasons, because I don't know where it is in the manga, if it's ending anytime soon, if this is going to be like the, kind of my next Naruto for long anime, where it's going to be on for years and years and years, and it probably will be. This and maybe Dr. Stone. I don't know if Dr. Stone ended yet in the anime or the manga. But who knows? It just seems like this is going to be one of those shows where you almost are forced to rewatch it because you can forget the little things from the previous seasons. And I have before in previous reviews, I forgot a couple of small little details that were very important to the current season. So it's like a blessing and a curse. It's great we're getting this great show. It's great we're getting all this beautiful background material. But at the same time, I wish the pacing was a little bit faster, because the viewer is going to forget a lot of stuff. And I don't have a lot of time to rewatch an entire season. Not always. Typically how I like to watch anime is I watch it once, unless it's a movie, because I will rewatch some anime movies. But typically with a show, watch it once, and I'm probably not going to watch it again. Maybe I will. Sometimes I will binge watch a season if I really, really liked it before the next season comes out, but that rarely happens. So it does. You lose some of the information, and it kind of sucks. So overall, I would rate this episode 7 out of 10. Great information, and we learn more about the witch's cult, learn more about Petalgeese more specifically, how he got his witch factor, how he got his strength. Fortuna is Emilia's mother. You know, we learn, we don't really know her fate at this point in time, and we're just left at a giant cliffhanger. That's what Re:Zero loves to do, and it does. It pisses me off some weeks more than others. This is one of those weeks that's pissing me off a lot. So if I sound annoyed, you can definitely understand me. With why I'm rating it a 7 out of 10 as opposed to like an 8 or 9 out of 10. Because yes, we had the fighting, yes, we had the backstory, yes, we had some more information about Greed and how crazy he is. He apparently is some sort of crazy perfect person for a witch factor. And he's over 100 years old, because I think all of this stuff happening took place well over 100 years ago, to my knowledge anyway, if I remember correctly from the first season. And it's getting dragged out. So it's not slow going though, because I feel like I blink and the episode's over. But it's just taking a while to get where we need to be. I'm ready for the Sanctuary to be free. I'm ready to get on to the next part of this. I'm ready to fight Stelia, and I want all of that to happen sooner rather than later. And I'm also ready for Subaru to master that witch factor and become an actual usable person, as opposed to just doing all the mind game stuff and setting up everything. Because this is definitely one of those anime that's like, it's a combination of mind and power. And sometimes there's a happy medium. Some episodes are heavier than others, one way or the other. But I feel like when I'm watching an anime, I want one or the other. I don't want both. This one, I want more action. We got plenty of action this episode, but I want to get to the point. I want to get to the punchline, if you will. So 7 out of 10, a decent episode overall. I'm hoping the next episode is a little better, explain some more information, because I felt like, there's a solid 5 minutes in this of Emilia crying, and I understand it was emotional and sad because she's losing her mother. It's a character you're going to kill off in a couple of episodes, so I feel like there's not a point in really dragging that out more than it needs to be. So let me know what your thoughts are down below. If you like this video, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, leave a like, let me know what you want me to do for future anime and cartoon related reviews, and just other videos in general. My name is Steve Gray, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.